What's up, everybody? Dark Knight 316, Rubber Wheeler Gaming, and this is the Roundtable Podcast, the last one of 2025.
Just let everybody know, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah. If you didn't know, on the last episode there, I was running solo here, and he was at a remote location doing it, chiming in, and we were testing out, what was it,
Zoom.
the Zoom?
You know what we should ask though? What'd you bring me?
Yeah. What did you bring me?
Yeah, I found this Monster Ultra Wild Passion.
Yeah, I'm trying it too.
So,
To see if it's any good.
until this one works.
So then, what have you been playing?
I have actually been playing Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah. Anticipation for maybe if they ever do a remake?
No. My goal, I want to go through every Final Fantasy. If I can't, I've gone through every Final Fantasy. I played every one but 12. Really, gone through deep. And then some of the MMOs. But I really wanted to go, and if I could get the platinum, I'd get the platinum. If I can't, I can't. But I really wanted to go through all Final Fantasies. So that's one of my goals this year is to try to complete franchises that I haven't been able to go through over the years. So that's kind of my goal right now.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy 9, because I finished 8 earlier in the year. I'm working on 9 and getting through. I'm like halfway through disc 3, I guess technically. How you rank it, I'm halfway through disc 3. So
Yeah. So, I want to pause right here to give thanks to a subscriber. I mean, we're trying to build this channel up, and so we were trying to reach the goal of at least 10 subscribers by the end of the year. I mean, it could still happen by the end of the year. So, we're trying to get to 10. But our next subscriber that came, we want to thank him. His name was Booster Pack Theory, or Booster Pack Therapy. Sorry if I butchered that name. Thanks for being a new sub. And just like you guys, you can like and subscribe to this channel so that we can give you guys more content and grow this channel on there. So back to the news. So what's the most important news this week?
yeah, I think it's a major concern for at least PlayStation gamers. I don't know about anybody else, but recently I came across this article that there's a PlayStation Network hacking incident, and it reveals major security flaw. So, you remember we had one back in 2011 when the whole network went down due to that one group, But
Anonymous.
yeah, I think this one is more of a concern because how easily able
Yeah.
they can now. I also was looking through this too, and I couldn't find out any updates whether or not this journalist
Yeah, like any updates on
any
what
updates
happened.
from what he did. But just to run down, summarize it, this journalist said that he got hacked with an invoice number and username. So basically, what happens is if you have an incident, they overcharge your card or something like that. You call up PlayStation. They give you an incident number, and then you use that incident number to be able to help with your case. Well, I guess apparently what happens is if they use old incident numbers and they know your username, they can call up Sony and basically be like, oh, this was never done. I need access to my account. And that's what happened. So they said that the user logged in to the email address, changed it, charged $9.99, and he was able to recover his account by getting support over the phone. But what was interesting is the information they needed. They said the report reveals after spending some time on call, the information they needed to share was the PSN username and a transaction number from an old invoice. The year didn't matter. So you think that sometimes what happens is maybe somebody will do it like on a forum. And if there's an incident number on the forum and that is your username you're using on the forum, somebody could go in there and hack your account now. So I think that's a major flaw with Sony. Now, I don't think it's a major flaw in a sense of like somebody going in to hack your account. I think it's an internal security concern, because if that's all they can ask, then that basically anybody could do it. So I think that's where Sony would need to tighten up kind of their
I
security.
mean, they also said though that they used them coded on an app. So that could have got some other thing there, but that could be anything. That could have been that they hacked the PlayStation app, and that's how they were able to change and charge all that stuff on there. But I mean, Sony's been hit with so many of the stuff that you would think that they would figure out better ways to do. I mean, they already did that 2 point authentication,
Yeah.
and they also done where you know you change your password and all this kind of stuff like that, and to make it where it's this easy, where they found a flaw in it, is kind of concerning. Now, I had a buddy that this happened to him on a PS3, and he got his thing hacked because somebody got his username off of PS3trophies.com when .com was a thing.
Yeah.
And they got his username, and they were charging stuff with this credit card and stuff, and he had to find an old credit card and stuff like that to prove that it was him to go get it back. So, I mean, if it happened back in in the PS3 era on there, then this has probably been around for a long time. It's just somebody's probably coming back and trying to see the old thing to see if Sony's ever improved.
One thing though that this article doesn't say though is like, why would this person just do it to this journalist instead of just, you know what I'm saying? Because if they're just doing this journalist, why not a bunch of different people? A bunch of...
Maybe this journalist is known, so they just wanted to see what they can get.
I did want to go to the comments to see if anybody, said anything about it, but, somebody said that this happened to them twice this year.
Well, that's also what happened on the journalist. He said that once he got his account back, within, I think it was 24 hours or a few hours or whatever, his account got hacked again.
But they said they put the suspension on account 5 to 10 days for a waiting period.
Yeah, for a response.
So
yeah, so I mean, this is a big concern because if it's that easy, I mean, that means that normie, non-professional hackers could just be like, yeah, I don't like this person, but I'm gonna go take all this stuff from him, and I'm going to go and find some invoice, because you can go to a lot of forums and probably find people concerned on there. Because I mean, I can see like on PSN profiles and stuff like that, where people in the forums are like, oh, you got to email these devs here because this trophy is glitched or whatever, and then they give the forum page on there.
Even if you're talking to like a chat bot, and then they go, oh, your case closed, your transaction number is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. And then, and then if you're logging in with basically your account on those forums, because sometimes they link it with your account, then they have your name. So I think it is a security concern. But the only thing, I haven't heard much more about this since I saw this article published. So I want to know. I'm not saying how authentic it is or something like that, but it's almost been a week. So I'm kind of curious. I know. I haven't seen PlayStation respond on this either.
Yeah.
So
because I mean,
this is a one-off thing.
The other security hack that happened was the Ubisoft one, but they found out that was fake. That wasn't really real. So if you saw any of the news out there that talked about Ubisoft being hacked, and they got all their data, like how they did with Sony, and got the all the Spider-Man games that were supposedly coming out, like the Insomniac hack, or the NVIDIA one, they said that that's all fake on there that I saw on that one.
So I mean, that's what I was thinking. Is it a one-off thing, or is it just, or is this?
Well, I mean, it seems
should we all be? I think we should be concerned.
I think we should be concerned, even though it seems like it only just happened to this journalist, and apparently that guy in the comment happened to him twice.
Yeah.
And this journalist twice, but it shows though that it's in France, because it says a French publication journalist from there had discovered a security flaw for it. What also could happen is Sony needs to have better security measures for talking to somebody over the phone or customer service on there, to make it where it has to come up with some other way of making it more secure when you're talking on the phone, because to me that seems like a old school type of uh like way of doing things with a easy able to with all the technology and stuff that we have, like talking on the phone. I mean, most people don't really talk on the phone as much. It's everything done on the internet, so it's just weird. So what's our next story?
PlayStation, it's official. PlayStation Plus is going to change forever in January 2026. Have you seen this article?
Yeah. So what they're saying here is that the free games that they used to offer for the PSN network, they would offer like PS4 games and PS5 games. Well, coming in January, they are no longer offering PS4 games unless it's one of those cross buy ones. That'll be the only time that they'll offer it. So that means that they're going to be less games now that they're going to offer for free. So I say if they're going to be offering less things for free, then maybe they should lower the price of the network, because already they haven't offered enough games for the most expensive one. With all the classic games coming, they haven't been doing a lot of that. So right now it looks like your most expensive value for it is not, doing that good.
But see, here's the thing. My video probably would go up today. I was thinking about putting it up today. Video I filmed about this, but I think you got kind of pros and cons for this, because now you got to think. This happened during the life cycle of PS3 into 4. Because remember when PlayStation Plus happened, they would give you like 2 PS4 games, a PS3 game, and then a Vita game. And then they slowly got rid of the Vita games, PlayStation game, and then they gave you kind of, like 2 or 3 PS4 games. Now, because of the life cycle of the PS5, we're already 5 years in. They're slowly wanting to get rid of PS4 games, which I think, I do think makes sense.
Yeah, they've already started doing that.
But I also think it's actually not good, because now if they're going to start... So, like, here's my thought between it. So everything on the PlayStation Plus, are they no longer... Now, is this no longer monthly games they're going to give us that are PS4?
It's monthly games. It's not...
Or is this going to be what's on the subscription?
No.
They're only going to focus on the PS5?
No, they're talking about the PSN
because this is a
offering.
PS Plus offering.
Yeah.
So if they're
that's
only going to...
free games.
Now they're only going to offer us, like, 1 or 2 games now.
Yeah.
So...
They said that that's what they did when they did it for the PS4, when they no longer supported the PS3 games. But they started giving us less, and then you saw that like everybody was complaining.
That's where I don't see the value of it.
They're doing the same
so
again.
We're paying what, like $160 for PlayStation Plus. Now I understand you're trying to get everybody to move from the PS4 to PS5. I get that, but where I'm starting to see the shift though is like, are they not going to start now supporting putting up more PS4 games on your subscription? Like, if they're going to focus, oh, no, we're not going to give you monthly games that are going to be free of PS4, are they going to just start focusing on, we're just going to put up PS5 games, we're not going to have PS4 games on there anymore, we're not going to focus, because this feels like it's going to be a shift to get away from more of classic games, and they want you to focus on just buying all the new stuff.
No. So, what this is that the free games that you get every month, they're no longer going to put up PS4 games. Mm-hmm. You're only going to be getting PS5 games. So, that's why they're saying that. Unless it's a cross one, then you'll have PS4.
So that's the thing, though. They said we don't know exactly what this means for the PS Plus free games lineup. However, when consoles were phased out in the past, it meant fewer free games. So that's where I don't know if you can justify $160. Because I mean, I used to
that's what I was talking about.
I used to always tell people, like, when I go to GameStop, to be like, oh, if you're gonna buy a game, get the PlayStation Plus, because you pretty much have a bunch of free games you can play for $160. So if you're somebody who only buys a game, like a couple games every year, at least you have this as kind of like a backup. So,
yeah. So the PS4 games that are on the network that you get that are free for the most expensive one is still going to be there. They're still going to offer new games. They're talking about the monthly games that you get every month, like they did with the PS3 one. They're going to phase out where you no longer get PS4 games unless they're cross-buy. Mm-hmm. Then you'll get that one they're offering, but it's only going to be PS5 games. So it may be, games that like, oh, people were like, oh, this is crap or whatever like that.
No,
Like
are
how
they
would
supposed
do
to
it.
go over the January
They said that
today or
it's
tomorrow?
supposed to be today
Because I'm at
or the 31st.
so
Wednesday?
tomorrow.
So tomorrow, yeah.
So I made a video of whether or not Chat GPT predicted the correct. So I'm curious to know whether or not
Well,
Chat
what did
GPT
Chat GPT pick?
Forspoken was their kind of their game. It was gonna be Forspoken as their like the main title. Which I mean, they've been having sales of that game, so it could be a free game.
I could see that being a free
but
game.
they just took it off the network.
Or that what's
So.
that, Godfall? I could see those.
Godfall would be interesting.
Because I could see them bringing like
I might have to go back and play that.
the first release type games to be on there. But
What about like a Ratchet and Clank?
but maybe they will go strong into January to try to like
Smooth things over.
Yeah, smooth it over that they're no longer doing the PS4 games on there. So maybe they'll do it. But like I said before, like if you're paying the most expensive one on there, like they already said that they're not doing retro games as quickly as they would like, and not a lot of them are coming out there because the companies don't want to do it. Like there's all this like legal stuff and battles and stuff, so it makes it kind of seem like, do you really want to pay the most expensive one for the retro one? Because their problem is like they're trying to appeal to the old gamers, the retro games and stuff like that, but then they're also not offering enough to put on there. So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know, do I still want to pay for the most expensive one where there's not a lot of retro games that are out that's interesting enough for me to be like, oh yeah, can we? I mean, it was like that at the beginning when they had all these good RPGs that are coming out for
like
the original
Legendary Good and all
PlayStation.
those.
Yeah, like Wild Arms and all those ones there. That I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. I get it for free and all this stuff like that. But now it's like they brought out Soul Calibur 3, doesn't have any trophies, so there's no entice for me to want to play that, because I'm like, unless there's trophies on there, like I don't really want to play it. I mean, the Siphon Filter games are cool, but I'm just like.
But what do you think about if they did? Because they did bring one game out for like the PS3 classic that they used the emulator. I believe it was Cloudberry Kingdom. What about something like that? Like, would you be interested in them releasing more PS3 games like that? Because I don't think this game people even knew it was a PS3 game. Didn't even know it came out. So if that one wasn't like really successful, do you think it's going to be one of those that people don't care, so they're not really going to release?
Well, I
more
think
PS3
it's
emulators?
their advertisement, because like if you said people didn't even know that this was a PS3 game, that's on the PlayStation marketing team, because they need to be like, hey, these are the retro games that are coming out
But
this month.
do
Like,
they
I think
necessarily
would
want to? So
I mean,
I think that's the thing with Sony. Is like
Sony,
they're not really
Sony,
wanting to push it.
They really don't want the backwards compatible, but they also don't want to lose those people. So they still want to have backwards compatibility on there. I'm just wondering though, when the PS6 comes out, like, are they going to do what they did with the PS5, where if you're the Plus subscriber or whatever, you get X amount of games for free for the
That
PS6,
would be interesting.
like how they did with the PS4 one, where you got like those 12 games or whatever.
Yeah, because the PS5 did that.
But also, it's like when the PS6 comes out, are they going to still do retro gaming?
And see,
Because I mean,
that's gonna be tough.
They spent all that money to do those silver blades to get the PS3 emulation, so they could bring the backwards compatible for it on PS4 and the PS5. So when PS6 comes out, are they still going to be focusing on trying to bring out PS3 games and the retro games for it? Because if they're not going to do that and they're going to stop that, I may just downgrade my PlayStation.
You know, not
Plus.
only that though, like the technology's so improved right now. How come I can't take my old school PS2, PS1 discs and just put them in there and then kind of do what Xbox did, download the file to be able to play that game? Like they're so powerful. How come we can't
could do that with the 1 and 2. The problem is PS3 games.
See,
they're trying to get the whole PS3 library on there, but because they used a different processor, there's more steps that require.
I like the PS3, but I would also say like I wouldn't mind them having to have that to take a back seat for now. But I would say is if they can take the 1 and 2 and let you put your disc in and download it, but there's no like updated graphics or anything like that. You're just playing the game how it is, and they have trophy support. Why not do that? Like that's where I think, or not even if you don't want trophy support, you add them in later. But like being able to say, like the PS6, I can just put my disc in and play. Like that would be,
Yeah.
what I think is would be best.
It worked for Xbox. I don't know why Sony. I mean, maybe it's the amount of money that Sony's like charging or something. I don't know, because you would think that with the PS5, since it was built more like easier to build for it, that I mean it reads Blu-rays and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure maybe that it reads discs like regular CDs and stuff. I mean, I haven't tested it, so I don't know if it actually does it, but that could be an easy thing that they can do.
I was laughing too because do you remember when PlayStation Plus used to go PS Now? I think I like PS Now better.
They had PS Now. That was separate than the Plus.
Yeah, like
because the Plus was just the free games.
I think
PS
I
Now
like PS
was their
Now.
online subscription thing that they had.
I think that was a cooler name than PS Plus, but
But remember, PS Plus was the first one to do Plus, and then everybody else did.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Everybody else did Plus this.
Like Plus,
because
yeah.
if you see it's like, Paramount Plus, HBO Plus, like everything had Plus that they all took it there, and so Sony was the first one to do Plus, but I thought it would have been funny if they did it like Plus Now, because they were combining the Now and the PlayStation Plus, like that would have been cool, but yeah, I mean, I'm worried about the PS6 that they're probably no longer going to do retro gaming, and this is probably like the Band-Aid scenario where they have the Band-Aid and they're going to, either rip it off one thing or you slowly peel away at it, because like one, they're not talking about retro gaming anymore, and I know that one company is working on trying to bring the old classic games to it.
Is it Gaikai? No.
That was their cloud service that the Now was. But they're trying to bring in the they said that there's a lot of legal battles for the games on like who owns them, who owns the rights and stuff like that. But like yeah, that's true and they may not want to do, but how did Xbox do it? Like that's what I don't understand on if they're having all these legal battles and doing all this stuff because, this game doesn't want to be on here because they're going to be bringing out a classic or they want to keep the IP. Like, I don't understand.
But that's the thing. Can you then do it and say, okay, like, we will take responsibility of it? Like, if you don't want your game sold, we can put it up on the network to play.
Maybe that's the whole thing is Sony doesn't want to take responsibility for it and waste all their resources of trying to do it all. They want these people to go and be like, I'll go do it.
I can see that because they would be like, oh well, if it's broken or whatever. But then I also think too that it comes down to the money as well, because you got to think there were some articles we've read in the past where people were like, oh well, it's not it's like not worth putting money towards it. But if you're only selling it at like $9.99, people aren't buying it at $9.99 for the game, then they're like, oh well, it's not worth it. And why would I put up my whole collection if nobody's buying it at $9.99?
Yeah, that's what the one like game developer was saying, that he's like, oh, that's chump change. Yeah. Like we're making money off of these like $90.
So that's where I think it comes down to mostly is because you got to think percentage wise. They would say, okay, well, let's say we give you, 2% of every game sold. Okay, let's say that's $1 or $2 or whatever. Let's just say you making from it, but nobody's buying it at $9.99. So then you're not making really any money, and so they don't see that as the investment, whereas they can spend all that money, for a AAA game that takes them 6-7 years.
Yeah, because I mean the main problem here is that games that are stuck on old consoles that can't get off of those consoles to bring into modern age, like those games are going to be lost forever, because eventually like your old console is not going to work anymore. whether the battery dies on it or something like that, and then now those games are stuck. And so that's the whole reason why most people that want these games to get off of the platform so that a modern audience can enjoy the games are not going to be able to do it because these are stuck on these consoles and next year and companies don't want to do it.
It's 20 years of PS3. So you mean to tell me that the network's been up for 20 years now, so they have every right to be able to close that network down, because as long as players aren't playing, they're like, why would they have the network up for a 20-year-old console? Same thing with like PS4. PS4 is what, almost 13 years. I think next year came out 2013. It's almost 13 years. Why would they keep a PS4 console up? And that could be the other thing too. We shut down the PS4 network. We shut down the PS3 network, and now we're forcing you to go over to PS5, 6, whatever. But I don't know if there would be legality for it, because like, what if somebody said, "Well, I bought a second-hand, PS3, I can't play it."
Well, that's their fault for buying a second-hand PS3.
Because you don't have it like ready to go. Because that's what I think. Like, so if somebody bought like a Nintendo Wii and that network's down, do they say, well, is there some kind of thing that says that they're able to turn it down without notice, so like you can't sue them or anything like that?
Well,
because
you would think that you wouldn't be able to play with the network, but
you would think that people would be coming back going, I spent all this money, I have all this stuff on there, and I can't get it back anymore.
The problem
20 years later.
See, the problem now will be, because of this stuff, is you can't just put it in the game now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these ones now require updates, and since it's been connected to the internet and stuff like that, if they turn off their network, you're never going to be able to play. So there's no point of getting your old retro game. You're not going to be able to play the game. So, like, for instance, like how you were talking about the Wii, where if you're putting it in the disc in there, and it's going to be like, oh, we need a 2.0 update, you're going to have to go to the network. Well, if the network is down, you're never going to do it. It's not going to run the game because it needs that update. So now you paid whatever amount of money on OfferUp or
wherever
Facebook
you got
Marketplace or whatever, and then now you don't have anything to go and
because you got to think, PS3 is my favorite console. I tell you why.
What if it had a boomerang controller?
I still think that would be pretty cool. In my opinion, I think that's pretty cool. But like, to me though, it's my favorite console, but I don't see myself playing it enough. Like, I finished Tales of Graces F on there because that's where I started. I originally, like, that's one of the series I wanted to go through, but it's one of those where it's like, it's hard for me to jump back on there and be able to play some of these older games. And I start to see that trend now where I'm like, yeah, I'm older, I like those older games, but like, my PS5 is convenient that I can just download it, play it.
That's the thing. Is I don't want to lug in and hook it all up, and do all that
change
kind of
it.
stuff.
I mean, I have it set up to where I could easily just turn it on, but even then, like, my controller sits there, and I'm like,
but if you had, like,
what do I do?
If you had your like PS3, your PS4, your PS5, your PS6 all hooked up to the thing, and then you're like, oh, well, I can play a PS3 game. Okay, now I gotta find the controller, make sure it's charged.
That's the one thing.
Then update the system with whatever.
And even to find a working controller, because how many controllers we have stored someplace that's like, does this work? I had to buy ones online that were like, which was interesting because a couple of years ago I was playing Sly Cooper when I was trying to go for my Platinum Grand Slam. And one of the controllers I bought did not have that. With the remote.
The 6-axis.
I don't know. Do I have my controller up here? I could show. Yeah, right there. So, like, in case you guys don't know, the PS3 controller, they have something called a. This one's a little dirty, but they have something, not just a 6-axis, but it's that the DualSense one. So when you're controlling in the Sly Cooper game, and Sly is walking, you have to move the controller like this.
Yes, to balance. Yeah, that's
to balance him.
That's the gyro part.
So
for the 6-axis.
One of the controllers I bought didn't have that. So every time I would walk, he kept falling off, and I was like, "Why is that?" I ended up buying a second controller because I wanted two controllers just in case I ever, ask you, hey, you want to help me, grind something out. But the second controller I bought had that, so I was able. It was my blue one I had, so I was able to control it and do it like that. But I thought that was interesting because you saw those features that they had on that controller, and how many games I couldn't figure out how to turn it off if I needed to, so I was like, pretty much I'm cooked. So
Yeah. So the next story we have is about the RAM prices. They say that
RAM prices.
yeah, so they're saying that the next gen could be delayed another year or so because of the RAMs that they need to make for the PlayStation 6 are getting like too expensive. Now, for me, I think that this is a bunch of malarkey because if you say that it's going to be a shortage and it's going to be then why don't you just buy them now?
Start making them now.
Start stockpiling them now so that then you have them and then you don't have to worry about anything, because then what you could do is you could stockpile, let's say you stockpile 100,000 of them, then you go put them in your PS6, then you know that worldwide you're only going to be releasing 100,000 of them until you get more of these RAM on there due to the rise in AI and all that stuff like that. So I think that this is an excuse that Sony wants to do it so that they can delay it or just whine about AI's coming and changing the whole industry and blah 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 and all this crap on there. Because if you know that this is gonna happen, I would say, okay, let me either stockpile the ones that we're gonna get now or look into an alternative one that maybe more expensive, and then we can go do it, because this makes no sense on why you're going to delay it for another year, because they might run out of all the RAMs because the Nvidia or whatever is buying using all the RAM for AI and stuff like that. Buy it now.
But do you
because right now it'll be cheaper than what it will be in the future.
And that's the thing, though, is do you necessarily then have to say that you have to get into the next console generation, 2027, 2028? Can you wait a little bit longer? Because
that's what they're doing. That's what they're saying, is because the RAM is going to be bought out and they're not going to have enough RAM.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to delay it another year.
No, but I'm just saying, can you push this 10 years later and then release your console come 2030 when prices would more than likely probably drop? Because if the AI is taking over all the RAM, eventually they're going to get all the RAM, and then there's you got leftover RAM. So they're going to build enough. Is it a manufacturing issue? They can't build enough RAMs quick enough? Then why not just wait it out, or is it more?
The story that they're whining about is that Nvidia got a contract with the OpenAI to buy out all the RAM that they could to make this AI stuff in there. So now the other RAM for the consumers to buy and businesses to buy is not going to be enough because of Nvidia is buying them all. But I'm saying, well, do you have to use Nvidia?
Yeah.
Why don't you use another company or whatever to go use
it?
Yeah, or like I said, buy it now while you have the chance, while it may be somewhat expensive.
Yeah.
But if you stockpile your version of it, then when you bring it out in 2026, 2027, you'll be able to.
I'm not big on, I don't understand, the RAMs and stuff like that. I'm not big on computers, but looking at
the processing of how to run everything.
Looking at the console generation, I think next year they should be telling us more. We should be getting more of a scoop of what PS6 is going to look like, sound like, feel like all that. Because if they are bringing it within the 7-year life cycle, kind of what we have been seeing trend, in the last 20 years at least, then we should be knowing everything about it. Now, if it comes out in 2028, where I do, thinking about it, would see that it would come out in 2028, then I think that's where we still got some time. They'll probably wait till end of this year, early next year to tell us what PS6 looks like.
That would just be their excuse, is because of these RAMs. That's why I'm saying.
The only reason why I'm thinking of it is because they said Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't going to be on next-gen consoles. So if Final Fantasy VII Part 3 of the remake comes out next in 2027, then that means that this will probably come out towards 2028.
No,
That was my guess on it. So
no, that's not true because it could come out. The next gen console could come out. It just won't be on there right away. It'll be like how they did with The Last of Us, where it's like, yeah, it's on the PS4, and then it'll
and then eventually
remake it
redo
to the PS5. So it'd be the same like that. I'm saying Sony's whining about this, and other companies are whining about it. Why don't you stockpile it now? It says the price increased by several 100% the past few months due to the demand for AI and the pursuit of AI on there, and everybody's complaining about, why are you using AI to help with your game and all this kind of stuff there. Well, yeah, it may be expensive now if you buy all that one, because if you wait and they actually have more, they may jack up the price of what the RAM is, and then you complain all this stuff for nothing, because if it's like right now, let's say it's $200 per RAM, but then once Nvidia buys half of the RAMs in the world, and then you didn't stockpile them now at the 200 price, now they're gonna say, well, you want this at 500 now. Now what are you gonna say? Oh, sorry, we're gonna have to put this on the consumer now because we're gonna be paying more for all the RAM there because they increased the price of the RAM. Well, yeah, that's what they're gonna start doing on there once the RAM comes out. So if you buy it now, while it may be expensive to you on there, then you can go buy them now, stockpile them all, and then when they start getting more and more, or if they do go down in price, then you can start stockpiling now. So it's kind of like with the PS5, where it's like, oh, you got this version of the PS5 out, then the stuff started to get cheaper. Now we have the PS5, Pro, and then now we have the detachable ones and stuff like that. So you can make them out later on. It's just that these ones that you stockpile would be like the first gen, PS5s on there. You can do that. It's to me, it doesn't seem like it's that hard. I just think that they're all trying to be anti AI right now because AI is like booming, really popular. So they want to try to blame anything for that. People will be against AI, which I have no problem with AI. If you can use it to help improve your stuff that's not affecting people's jobs, then I'm like, might as well use AI. Like, it makes everything so much easier, and it's basically just writing code, and having it stored and then using it for everything else. Like, it's not really, that much of a problem. So, that's all the ones for the PlayStation one. We're gonna pause now with the news. We're gonna be opening up a pack. So I have this Final Fantasy Magic's the Gathering crossover on there. So we have a loot box channel that we go and open up games, cards, and everything on that channel. We want to merge it with this roundtable one. So
let's see what kind of pulls you get.
So if you like watching the shorts that we have on the channel of ripping these packs open and seeing which cards we have, well, we're going to be doing that through the segments of our podcast now, so you can watch that and have it all combined. So I'm going to be opening up this pack. We're going to see if we got a good card.
Any bangers? You got any bangers you getting from there?
Let's see.
Let's see. Last time, I can't spoil it, but we pulled a pretty good card the last time, so.
Okay. So here's all the cards that we have here. We got that one. This one. I don't know if you can see it. We have this one. Let's see, can you see it?
I ain't got my glasses on, so I can't see it anyway.
Here we got this one. This one. This one. This one here. Look like some fire going down. Oh, we got this one here.
Ooh, That looks like a
that
castle.
card there. Yeah, it's the Giant of Babel.
Ooh, Final Fantasy 4.
Got this one here.
How many cards you get in here? 11?
14.
14?
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then we got this one right here. Then we got this one here.
It seemed like they give you a double pack.
And this one here. And then we'll look over them more in depth afterwards too, because it doesn't look like it might. Well, here's a shiny one.
Ooh,
So
look
we'll
at this
see.
shiny.
We'll see those ones on here. This one here. And then the last card is a double-sided card.
Ooh.
And it has that one there. So we'll look over these ones here more in depth to see if we got anything good. So let's see. So we had this one here was the
Haste Magic?
Haste Magic, and you see Cloud using the Haste Magic. Then we got the Shinra Reinforcement. Town Greeter card. Ice Magic. Dwarven Castle Guard. Thunder Magic, and this looks like, yeah, it's lightning using the Thunder Magic. Then we got the Crossroads Village. This is the Giant of Babel card. Then we got the Clash of the Icons. Oh, this looks like Clive and Phoenix. Then we got the Magitech armor from Final Fantasy 6 on there. We got random encounter where you fight the cooler. And then we got, this is the summoning card that we got was the Primal Odin.
Ooh.
That looks like it would be a cool summon to have. And then the shiny one that we had was the weapons vendor. And then Treno Dark City. You should know where Treno was.
Yeah, I'm
from
getting
Final
there
Fantasy
again.
9.
So.
And then the hero card was the token creature hero, and then the wizard as well. So that was the double-sided card. So that's all what we got from the Magic's the Gathering one. We don't know if it's, if we got any of the bangers on there. You guys would know more than us at the beginning of it, but we'll see it when we have the video up. We'll make a short on that, cut it, and then put it up on there as well. So we'll get back to the rest of our gaming news.
Was it borderless? Someone, do you remember?
Let's look.
I've seen the value of it, but
The Prime Odin. No, it's the black border.
It's just the
black
regular one.
Yeah.
All right, that's good money right
All
there.
right. So we'll get back to the next story is this one here. So speaking of AI, we have level 5. They said that they're all in with generative AI. They said that it has the power to, create anything. So it's more, creative ideas that AI can help you with. So it's basically kind of like, when Photoshop came out, more people could use Photoshop to go create their paintings and update their photos and stuff like that. This is what the boss is saying, that AI, or especially the generative AI, can help with creative ideas and stuff to do for going into the future. Since AI is not going anywhere, everybody uses AI now, so it's not going anywhere. So excuse me. If more companies embrace this AI stuff and not, be mad about it or whatever. Because he's comparing it, which I agree, is using it where you can use it for good or you can use it for bad. If you're using it to write your paper and you're not really writing your paper and it's doing it, consider plagiarism. But if you're using it to, do all the coding so that it'll help somebody, get a heart transplant or something, like that in like the medical field or in gaming, where that helps you build your environment quicker, and using the your artist's work and stuff like that for it, and it makes it easier, and you can pump out these assets quicker. Then all your lead time and the crunch time would also diminish there, because why would you need to do crunch time to get everything out when AI is already helping you on that back end on there? So it should lead to less layoffs of doing the crunch time, and where you're getting like 90 hours of overtime or anything like that. And also AI could help the lower A games, like A and double A games, and all those developers to create the games that they want to create, instead of not having to have a huge team, or not even having to pay a lot of money for that stuff. You know, because buying the Unreal engines or all these gaming engines are expensive. So normal people, like the ones that play the games, are not going to be able to afford all that stuff unless you're Rockefeller. So having AI could help you create these assets on there, and it'll make it easier. Also, as AI starts getting advanced, it'll look better, because sometimes the idea that you have in your head and you're like, yeah, can you create this? You can totally tell that it was created by AI, because it does not look like it. So if you said, give me a character from Claire Expedition, and they give you Claire from Resident Evil, like, obviously they're not doing their search for AI, that well. And so I just think that yes, AI is good, and it can also be bad. Depends on how you use it, and that's pretty much anything. The internet could be good, could be used for good. The internet could be used for bad. You know, so what's your take on
You know,
Level Five?
I do think, like, I was looking at his article, and he said it's sometimes it can be treated as equivalent to plagiarism,
Mm-hmm.
but just like a knife can be used for cooking or as a weapon, or a computer can be used to create games or commit cybercrime, AI can be
Mm-hmm.
misused. You know, and here's the thing: like, I'm not against AI. I think it could be used with pros and cons, because, like, if you told AI, I want to create the no here's where I'm kind of like on the fence, because let's say I got Chat GPT and then I paid a subscription, so everything that I asked them to create is AI. Then is that like my original work, or do I credit Chat GPT? Like, that's kind of where I'm on the fence at, because if they're using an AI program, then do they say, oh, well, Robert created this character, or do they say ChatGPT created this character, because even though I'm paying for the subscription, I'm using what ChatGPT came up with. So I can see it as like a plagiarism, because they came up with the idea like, I thought of the idea, but they came up and created it for you. So I can see, like, that's where I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like, if I'm paying to get a better version of like the Chat GPT, and they're creating me something that like actually works and looks good and things like that, and I use it, like, I'm paying that money for them. It's like if I paid you to go and create something for me, and then you created it, but then I took the credit because I paid you for it. So, like, that's where I'm on the fence at. So I think AI could be used, but I also think where I don't want to see AI happening is where they're going to do this, and basically, like, one person, it's going to be a one man team using AI to create everything, and then take the credit. Like, let's say the next Final Fantasy, they're going to take AI and create the whole world, the characters, everything for it, and then, take credit for it. And then there's a lot of people who lose their jobs because, AI is doing that. Like, that's where I don't want to see it. So that's why
Well,
I'm on the
that's
fence.
the one that they say is the con, is if you're using it to replace people's jobs, it's not good. But the one thing that like you did bring up is who then really owns the work. Like, you're telling programming to do it, so Chat GPT could be like, later on, once it becomes popular, and like, let's say everybody's paying for a thing, they can be like, well, we're the ones who created it with our program on there, so we own that rights to it, even though you told us what you wanted us to create.
Yeah.
But that could also be like their whatever you pay to upgrade for it, that's their royalty. So it could also be something like that where they don't own anything that you create from it because they've already taken their royalty for you using it that you paid monthly or yearly on it. So that's some of the stuff that probably in the next few years that they'll probably work out to determine, because since AI is not going anywhere, now it's going to determine who owns AI.
Well, that's kind of the thing.
If you're using AI, do you own the stuff that you're doing for AI, or does AI
what type of AI
use
are they using? Because like I always wanted to create kind of like a like a pixel remaster RPG, but I like to use AI to do the development of everything just to see how it would work out and create like an RPG.
You can use your AI to go do that. You can have like Gronk or these other AI companies to go do it, and one might be better than the other and stuff like that. It's just what you pay. It's just like buying the Unreal Engine. Like, you don't have to use the Unreal 5 engine. You can use other engines to build your game. It's just whatever you want to go pay for. But that you haven't seen, though, that Unreal saying, hey, we allowed you paid to use our Unreal Engine, so we own that game. You haven't seen that. So if they use AI as that kind of stuff, where they're giving you the toolbox to go and create your stuff, and they're not taking a royalty from it, then I think that's good enough.
It's like paying for the software. If I got Adobe or something, and then if Adobe had a built-in AI and I bought that, then is that Adobe's work? Because some of these things that like you have these editing softwares now that you can ask. Like, if you're paying for it, you can ask their AI and say,
even if you're not paying for it, they have the free version.
Yeah, and they can create it for you. So, like, that's what I'm saying is if you paid for it, like a lot of these programs now are having that, is it your original work or is it plagiarism? Because generally, you didn't say, hey, come up with this land and thing, and then boom, boom. Like, you thought of an idea and said,
well,
do this.
That I don't think would be considered plagiarism, because you're telling it what's to create and then it created it. I think what this guy is talking about for plagiarism is that when you're saying, hey, create this background, and then AI scans the background and they're just looking at whatever background for the art.
Yeah.
So it's like how when you go to Google and you're like, Final Fantasy, and you go to images and it comes up with all the different images of Final Fantasy. That's pretty much what AI is doing, and then they just pick one and create it. Now that would be plagiarism because you're taking somebody else's artwork, like how what's that game that Sony was coming out with the got delayed but is now coming out, that they got
Marathon,
yeah.
Yeah.
They're the ones who got hit with using somebody else's artwork in their game.
I also want to bring up this point too. Like, looking at this article, they say that he believes that the technology can help developers reduce AAA development cycles from 5 to 10 years to 2. My thought is, why is a AAA development cycle already taking 5 to 10 years? Like, you got to think, you're going to release one game in one generation life cycle for a AAA game, especially if you started working on, let's say, a God of War in 2020, and you're going to tell me it's going to be released now, or at the end of your PS5 life cycle, to then you did all your marketing releasing it, to do it again. You're only releasing one game a year. Like, how is that good for a AAA company? Like, how is that good to release?
Because
why does it take 5 to 10? It shouldn't take 5 to 10 years to release a game.
Because it costs a lot of money to have all the software to go and do it, and then plus also
that's probably the issue.
Plus also it's their stuff probably doesn't run right, so they have to take those extra years to get all that stuff fixed. Whereas if AI is doing all that back end stuff, where they're doing all the coding, doing all the bug fixes, and doing all that, and all you have to worry about as a developer is continue to create the assets and running it through AI so that they can smooth it all out to fix it all in there like that. That will dramatically drop.
I bet you the 5 to 10 years is corporate stuff. Like,
No, I mean,
It should not take you 5 to 10 because
well, I mean, you're not a game developer.
I know,
One,
but it shouldn't take you 5 to 10 years to create a game.
yeah,
But
it may take longer.
because then
Look how Final Fantasy remake
then you got
took
to think though
20 years.
it didn't take them 5 to 10 years though.
No, it took them 20 years.
But you got to
on
think
there.
though because then like the minds behind some of these great games, you're only going to release 3 games and be considered like best in your era. You only created 3 games,
So
like doesn't make sense.
it does make a lot of sense because if you've ever created games, you know, like all the coding, all the assets, all that takes a long time to go do it, and you got to make sure that it works in the build that you're building. So it takes a long time to do it. It's not like an easy job where you could just drag it, drop it, okay, boom, done. Drag, drop it, boom, done. Takes me 10 minutes. Okay, I built this level. It's not like that. It takes all the coding, so you have to do all the coding behind it. Then once all the coding is done, then the artists have to go build all the models for it, do all the painting. Then the level designers have to make sure they're. Then there's the testers that do it where they have the little builds of the bodiless AIs there that's running around. They gotta make sure, okay, if I jump, is this button right? So it takes a long time for all that stuff to go do it. That's why they said that these AAA ones have like 300, 3,000, 5,000, employees because they're all working on trying to create this game and have the best, version of that game. So I could see, yeah, it takes 5 to 10 years to go come up with a game, and yes, you may only have it on the one console on there, up on there, but that's because AAA games are supposed to be a higher echelon of stature of being, the best looking, the best playing, the best whatever. Whereas the indie games, they're not making it look super awesome. They're just making it where they use lower assets and like, pixel art, or doing it where it's 2D and stuff like that. They're not doing the 3D models and making it all that. That's why it's easier for the non AAA games to come out. But if AI can help with all that stuff, they won't need crunch time where they all have to work, overtime and all that. It'll take a lot less time. They can bring out those vertical slices that hit the milestones instead of lying like how Naughty Dog did. And they're like, oh, well, we need all this money just to bring out a tech demo to Sony so that Sony will still give you money to continue to make the games. Because a lot of this time, it'll get to it. And then when it gets tested in the audience is like, oh, this game's crap. And now they scrap it because they're like, oh, it's not going to make it. Or the trends that they're trying to meet, it comes out and, those trends suck. Like when they kept doing those like loot shooters. Like, yeah, Destiny was your big money maker for the loot shooters, but when you tried bringing out Concord and all that one, like, no, those shooter ones weren't popular. Like, you should have tested that before, but you didn't. So I could see AI dramatically dropping the amount it takes for development cycle on it. The only thing I have a problem would be is because if it drops it to like 2 years, then they're gonna, companies will then end up going, well, then why do I need 300 people? I can get rid of half the workforce and then have AI do the rest of it and pay that money to improve the AI instead of having the employees to work. So that's the problem I would have in AI is if it replaces a bunch of the jobs. But if it is complementary to your job, then I don't see any problem with AI. So that's our story with AI. Our last story that we're talking about is the Claire Expedition 33 devs are not tempted to scale up for their next game, even though they made a bunch of money on Claire Expedition 33. I kind of see that this is what they say, but I don't know if it's going to be actually true because a lot of times is you're a small company, you made all this money on this game that was a hit. Now you're like, oh, well, we should do bigger, faster, stronger, and hire more people, and then you do all that and you lost what was important to that major company, popular and thrive. So hopefully they stick true and stay with the original cast that they have with their developer team, and not go and try to scale the development team and say, oh well, we have 33 employees, now we're gonna need 66 employees because we got all this extra money, instead of paying it to the people that helped make their team you know that creative and stuff like that. Because it says here, there is the potential to scale up now as the studio has made a lot of money. However, I'd say it's not tempting for us because even the management team and stuff likes to go do hands on, which is good if everybody wants to go do it. But I mean, they say money talks, so a lot of times people will be greedy and say, yeah, well, we need to change our ethics and stuff like that. What do you think?
I think actually, I think it would be good not to scale up because you got to think if their next game for whatever reason bombs, because I don't think they're going to have the same success as the first game because now it's going to be a lot harder for a second game. So if they, as he said, they have a lot more money now, like this can destroy your studio if you scale up and say we're gonna pay all these people, we're gonna have them do all these things.
We'll add more people to the team.
You paid all that money, so let's say you had $1 million in the bank now that you could use this. You spent the $1 million, you didn't bring the $1 million back. That can put your company out of business. So I like the idea that they have a lot more money. I think it's now they have to be strategic with how they do it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because like I said, I hope the next game they bring out is a lot better than this one. I hope it because that's what you hope. But sequels struggle. And
Yes.
it's happened a lot of times with a lot of popular games, movies, things like that. Because you brought out a great game, now how do you follow up with that? So I think because for instance we can look at Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 was not as good as the first one.
Nope.
This God of War Ragnarok was not as good as this God of War remake. Last of Us 2 isn't Horizon. So as we're starting to see
That Ghost of Yotai.
like Ghost of Tsushima was better than Ghost of Yotai. So things like that, like you start to see, it gets a little bit tougher. Like people will buy your game because they're fans of Expedition 33. But like if you're gonna put the exact same thing in the game, not really change up anything, people are gonna say, it's just the same. I could just go play Expedition 33. Like if you don't have a great story, change up a little bit of your I think you keep your battle system, but change up a little bit, tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, improve on it.
Maybe do something like in Final Fantasy X where you can just bring characters off the fly, something like that, and you can switch characters as your battle, not with when they die and then the next one can play. You can just switch them, maybe something like that, or just tweak up your because. The last thing I want is them to see that they changed up completely their battle system, and then it's you're getting away from what made you popular, because that's what Final Fantasy did. Eventually, Final Fantasy changed up to more action, and it wasn't the feel of Final Fantasy. So I think they do have a uphill battle because I think it's harder for them to do a sequel, and that's where I think I like his thinking. What is his name? Guillermo? I can't say his name. But I do think that it's a good thinking, in my opinion. I hope he sticks with it because I hope they don't scale up now. I hope they keep the same team, maybe get a couple more people and make it even better. But it's difficult, and that's just being honest. It's difficult when you see a sequel for a great game. You can even go back in the day, Mario 1 to Mario 2. People did not like Mario 2, but then Mario 3 came out and knocked it out the park. So you can see things like in Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2. So you can start seeing things like that. It gets a little bit tougher because people already critiqued and broke down your first game, and when the sequel comes out, they're gonna compare it to the first one and say, well, it's not as good as this because I don't like this character, and this character reminds me too much. It's gonna be broken down, and people may not buy it. So I'm glad to see that that hopefully they are strategic with the money that they just made from this game, and I do hope that they do make a great game, because I'll buy their next game, as long as it's as if it's similar to this, but it's not as good, I'll probably still buy it because I really like Expedition 33.
I mean, for me, I'm maybe they should just not make Claire Expedition 33, the sequel. to it. Like make maybe a completely different game. Like try something new. Like game wise, not like keep the same you know concept of Claire Expedition, like the battle system, like keep all those tools the same, but maybe make a different, like, it doesn't have to be, like
Kind
French
of,
actors and kind
kind
of
of
stuff
like
like
the
that.
Sea
Like,
of Stars, kind of like that one. Those publishers made it like an action game, and then they made an RPG, and then Sea of Stars made it real
well,
popular,
no, I
kind of like
said
that.
keep it as an RPG, but I'm like, don't make it in the vein of like, you know,
Oh, because they were talking about Claire Obscure is going to be kind of like the realm of it. So Claire
yeah,
Obscure is going to be Claire Obscure, whatever.
yeah.
It's not going
So
to be like
I'm
Expedition
saying that,
34.
yeah. So I'm thinking that like they should just like yeah, Claire Expedition. Like maybe they could just keep bringing out DLCs for it, but like come up with a different game.
Mm-hmm.
Like still use the like the battle system of Claire Expedition where you got to do the dodges, you got to do that. It's turn based, but maybe come up with a new story, like something that has nothing to do with Claire Expedition at all.
That's
But it's
what
like a new, like it's a new game. Like
that's
don't
what I
even
think they'll
like
do.
don't even do it like it's a, like the Final Fantasy thing where it's like, oh, it's under the Claire Expedition or
Mm-hmm.
Claire Obscure, but it's
I think
the Final Frontier or whatever, like calling it like
I
that
think
because I
they're going
think
to go
that
that route.
because I think that like you build something cool, I think it should just stay that. Come up with maybe a different thing because if you keeping it in the same world as Claire Obscure is, like I can see that could be then eventually will be too like bloated where it's like it's like oh we've seen this world so many times
Mm-hmm.
like we're gonna get sick of the world. So it's like if they want to continue Claire Expedition and maybe do like Expedition 22 and then have it where it's like different characters
I think that's what they're going to do.
into like the vein there and then have like a different story on it.
I think
Like
that's what they're going to do.
I could see like maybe they could do that, but I would prefer having a completely different type of like keep it like a RPG per se, but like make it where it's not like the like because like Claire Obscure Swedish Theory was like a French title type game.
Yeah.
I know that they're a French developer, so they want to have like the roots of like French history and French culture and stuff like that in there. But I think that that's what made it unique
Mm-hmm.
on it. But I still think that like maybe they should try like something that has nothing to do with
But
Claire
that's where I think,
Expedition.
because I was reading past interviews that the director said that they're going to keep it as like their next game is going to be in the realm of Claire Obscure, but it's not going to be Expedition 33. And I think that's where
Well, I know that that's
I think that's
they
what's
can't
going to be
make it
hard
Expedition.
because you got to think like the characters, for instance. Like people loved Mayel, they loved Verso, like people Lune, like a lot of these people, a lot of these characters that people liked. So not having like especially the cast around Mayel, like not having Mayel as your lead in the game, I think it's gonna be tough because if people loved Mayel that much, it's gonna be
Well,
tough
I
to have
could
another
see
character
them
like
that they do it based off of the family. So I could see that they could do because you don't really know on how
Mm-hmm.
the dad or whatever got their powers and got to that stuff. So maybe the next story will focus mostly on that, and you can see the family of Verso and Mael and
But we
the
won't know
sister
until
and stuff like
PS6
that.
because it's gonna take them 5 to 10 years. So
Well, if they use AI, even though that
and
they got backlash for using the generative AI to make like a wall that
Yeah.
now they claim that they're
And
not
I mean,
going
we're
to
going to
use
see
it
a
anymore.
remaster come PS6 version. We're going to see a remaster of this game. So I mean,
I don't know about a
it's gonna take
remaster.
5 to
I
10
think that
years.
it's, if anything, that they'll probably bring out like a Game of the Year one with all the DLCs.
Because he was saying, this guy was saying that the last 5 years were some of the best of his life. So if they've been making it since 2020, and I just like before this game came out, like I recently saw the video of like because they did this at one of the Game Awards, and I kind of was looking at like, what the heck is this? Like this doesn't, But then like they gave more of a refined one. I saw it. I was like, this game looks awesome. I'm getting it. And that's when I told you, and you were like, nah, I don't know. And then I was
Yeah,
like,
because his choice of games to play was not.
so
giving
then
any
when you bought this
defend
one
it.
too, and it was kind of like Platinum Battle, but
Mhm.
I'm excited. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully they come up with a really good game. But
Yeah, well, that's all the news that we have this week on there. So, trying to build this channel, so please like and subscribe for more of this news. If you like the content of the cards opening on there, give it a like and subscribe there, so we can do more of this, and we can add more to the shorts and stuff like that as well. So we try to do it every week. Have a great into the 2025 into the new 2026 era on there. See what the next year has to offer. See, continue to keep playing, building up your platinum trophies, building up your trophies. So you got your building up your gaming community. Play more RPGs, and we'll see you on the. We'll see you
we'll
next
see you
year.
next year, guys.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
bless you guys.
I'll
Thanks
see
for
ya.
watching.
Yep.
Expedition 33, man. That's a good game.